So I just want to welcome everybody tonight to our 10th webinar, Finding Your Voice. Janine, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you and let's get started.
Okay, hello everyone. Our webinar today will be presented by Hannah from Colorado, James from New Jersey, and Kate from Massachusetts. Let's meet them now. Oh, I think we're going to move on for just a second. I apologize. Let's see. I'm having trouble with my screen. Just give me a second. There we go. We also have other students helping in our chat box. So we have Aiden from Massachusetts and Carolyn and Sarah from New Jersey. So it appears that our next slide, we're actually going to meet everyone.
Hi, so my name's Hannah. I am a 15-year-old student, and I'm also a sophomore in high school. My hobbies include fashion designing, playing video games, sculpting clay, and also creative writing.
Hi everyone, I'm James. I'm 15 years old. I'm a sophomore in a prep high school, and my hobbies include rowing and creative writing.
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm 13 years old in 8th grade, and my hobbies are running and skiing.
Today we're going to talk about self-advocacy, and we're going to look at it and what it is and share some ways that we can help ourselves be successful in school.
Self-advocating is a lifetime skill. Self-advocacy is the ability to know what you need and be able to tell other people. What this means is you need to know all about your learning difference. You need to figure out what helps you the most, and then be able to tell others what you need and why.
To become a good self-advocate, you'll need to educate yourself, and here are some ways to do it. Learn about your dyslexia and how it affects you and how you can succeed. Figure out what you're really good at and what you need the most help with. Like for me, I struggle with spelling, but I have really good reading comprehension. Know if you have a special education plan like a 504 or an IEP, and make sure you know what it says. Ask yourself who will support you on your journey and reach out to them when you need help, like your parents, tutor, case manager, or counselor. And it's really important to practice what you're going to say so you can be comfortable, so you're comfortable when it's time to talk to your teacher.
Remember that knowledge is power and the key to becoming a really good self-advocator. The more you know, the better you understand, and the easier it is to explain to others.
Why is it important to know how to do this? Self-advocacy is important because it prepares us for the future, for things like college and jobs. It also gives us the power so we are in control of what happens to us. What are accommodations? There are tools and changes for you in your schoolwork that help you in the classroom. Why do we have them? To make it fair so we can do the best work possible.
Here are some examples of some common classroom accommodations for students with dyslexia. You might get extra time on assignments and tests. Students like us sometimes have their tests read to them or have an adult write down their answers. Many students receive copies of classroom notes from the teacher. Sometimes we only have to do every other problem because it takes us twice as long to finish. Hopefully your teacher knows to never ask you to read out loud in class. And a really important accommodation is being able to use technology tools like audiobooks.
A frequent accommodation is technology tools, and I use them in school every day to help me. You have to plan ahead and understand what your tools are in order to use them correctly. We will quickly review a few of our favorites because sometimes technology is something you will have to self-advocate for every day.
Learning Ally. Learning Ally.
Dragon dictation, which is basically where I would use this microphone here and talk into it, and it would write down everything that I'm saying, so I don't have to worry about spelling.
I like to use a spell checker called Ginger, which at Learning Ally we like to call it autocorrect on steroids because it corrects words that might be misspelt wrong and words that sound similar.
Our next webinar, which is called Cool Tools, will be all about these different technologies. So be sure to join us.
Here are some examples of ways to self-advocate in school. You can ask for help when you don't understand directions, when you can't finish on time, or when you're just confused. There are all kinds of ways to ask for help, and here's an easy one. We know of a student who used brightly colored index cards and put it in the upper corner of her desk when she needed help. The teacher could see it and knew when to come help her. This is the beginning of self-advocacy. Try to set up an introduction meeting with your teachers at the beginning of the school year to share personal information. At first, your parents would come with you, but as you get into the older grades, you will be able to do this by yourself. You will also need to schedule meetings throughout the years with teachers when you don't understand an assignment or are worried about a test. It's important to stay on top of your assignments and grades. So once you have all your assignments in, you may want to ask for extra credit to keep up your grades. We always take advantage of extra credit when the teacher hands it out. And to be a good self-advocate, you need to continue to respectfully remind your teachers about your accommodation. It's also very important to try your best to educate your teachers.
Here are some things that you can do to help educate your teachers, like sharing facts, myths, characteristics, and accommodations. As a good self-advocator, you need to know enough to be able to teach your teacher about your learning difference. Your parents can also send information about dyslexia to your teachers every year.
Another way to educate your teachers is through an introductory meeting at the beginning of the school year. It allows you to introduce yourself, your challenges, and your strengths to your teacher. You can put all of these things together in a presentation if you want. Here are some things you can include. Tell your teacher about yourself. Educate your teacher about your learning difference. Share your strengths and weaknesses. Review accommodations and technologies that help you success. Invite them to partner in your success. I put all these things into a PowerPoint presentation. We have put a link under the resource box for you to see an example of a presentation like this. But know that you can also make a movie, put together a book or flip chart, or even just go in with one-page summary explaining all about you. This is such a great way to start the school year, and your teachers love them.
A strong self-advocate knows that in order to have a good meeting with your teacher, you need to remember to schedule it at a convenient time for both the teacher and the student, be prepared with questions, possible solutions, and requests. Practice what you're going to say with your parents in order to be prepared. Be polite and respectful when you're asking for accommodations. It goes a long way.
We have to self-advocate to our teachers, friends, and even our parents.
Hi, I'm going to be the student in this skit.
And I'm going to be the teacher.
When asking your teacher for help, here are a few tips to keep in mind. Pick a good time, know your challenges, and stay calm. I'm going to show you the wrong way and then the right way to ask your teacher for help with a math problem.
Yes,
Teacher,
Hannah? Yes, Hannah?
I really don't understand this math problem. I just don't get it, and I don't know what to do, and this is so confusing. I'm just gonna, yeah.
What?
Okay, so obviously this was not the right way to ask for help with your teacher. First of all, I wasn't very respectful. I didn't let the teacher get a full sentence in, and she had no idea what was going on. So the right way might look like this. Teacher,
Yes, Hannah?
I need some help on this math problem. This graph makes no sense whatsoever.
Okay, you have to make sure the numbers are lined up correctly, and then you connect these points and it makes cheese.
Okay, thank you. I was
Okay.
able to get what, oh, sorry. I was able to get what I needed because I knew what I was looking for. I let her talk to me, and I listened into what she was saying.
I'm going to be the teacher in this skit.
And I'm going to be the student. When asking your teacher for a modified assignment, here are a few things to keep in mind. Ask to speak to them in private. Be prepared with an idea. Ask for what you want. Don't demand. Now I'm going to show you the wrong way and the right way to ask a teacher for a modified assignment.
Okay, class. So today we're going to be working on an essay. They're due on Monday, and I would like to see 5 pages, single space, in MLA format.
Wait. There's no way I can finish that assignment.
Well, is there something specific you don't understand?
No, I just don't want to do it. I just can't.
Well, do your best, and if you need any help, please see me.
This is obviously not the right way to ask for a modified assignment because I was not really engaged and I didn't have a specific suggestion. You might try something more like this.
Okay, class. So today we're going to be working on some essays. They're due on Monday, and I want to see 5 pages, single-spaced, in MLA format.
Excuse me, Mr. Flexible, is now a good time to talk to you for a minute?
Yes, what can I help you with?
I'm really concerned about this assignment. I have a hard time writing really long papers, even though I know a lot about my topic. Do you think I could do a 2-page paper and then a 15-point PowerPoint instead? I'll be able to show you what I know.
That's an interesting idea. I think that would work. Let me know if you need any help.
I was able to get what I needed. I had a suggestion for my modified assignment, and I was respectful to my teacher.
Hi, so I'll be the teacher in the skit.
And I'm going to be the student. Here are some good things to think about when you want to help your teacher understand your learning difference. Set up a special time to meet with enough time and privacy. Offer informational materials for your teacher to read. Make sure you are prepared to explain your learning difference. I'm going to show you the wrong way and then the right way to help your teacher understand your learning disability. As a result of my dyslexia, it's hard for me to sometimes get assignments turned in on time because it takes me twice as long to complete them.
Oh, I know all about that. I used to be dyslexic too.
Well, it's a lifelong thing, so I don't think you know what you're talking about. Obviously, that's not the right way because I made fun of the teacher and nothing got resolved. So here's the right way. As a result of my dyslexia, it's hard for me to sometimes get assignments turned in on time because it takes me twice as long to complete them.
Oh, I know all about that. I used to be dyslexic too.
Well, actually, Miss Confused, you can't outgrow dyslexia, but you might not feel it as much as an adult because you have found ways to work around it. I know my mom has some good information that might help you understand. Can I bring you some?
That would be great. Thank you very much.
I was able to get what I needed because I respectfully corrected my teacher and then offered a solution.
Now we are going to spend some time exploring some questions about self-advocacy, which we will do our very best to answer. Why is it so hard to self-advocate? I think one of the reasons is we might be afraid that the teacher will say no, and that sometimes we're afraid of what other people will think, or that our friends might make fun of us. But don't let that stop you because that isn't always true. If you take the time to educate the people around you, then they can become a really good support team. It's hard being different, and we understand that. I think everyone in this room can understand that. But if doing things differently is what helps you to succeed, then you definitely want to do it because in the end, it'll be worth the effort. It's also hard because your whole life you've been told to obey your teachers since they're like an adult. But now you need to find the courage that's inside of you and make a difference for yourself because you're the only one who can do that.
What if my teacher says no? Self-advocating is hard sometimes, and you might be afraid your teacher will say no. Here is what you need to remember. If your teacher says no and you know this is something you should have, think about who else on your support team you can go to for help, like a different teacher, counselor, or your parent. You might want to think about when and how you approach your teacher too. To get the help you need, maybe you need to choose a better time or ask a little differently. And remember, your teachers are more likely to say yes if you come to them with a solution already in mind.
What if my friends or classmates don't understand or make fun of me? We want to share some ways we handle it when our friends or classmates don't understand our learning difference or make fun of us. I personally don't really have any experience with this, so I will leave this to my fellow presentees, James and Kate.
Hey, James, you're muted. Is
Is that better?
That's much better. Thank you. Go ahead, hon. Go ahead.
I explained to my classmates that it's a brain wiring difference that I can't do anything about, but I'm working just as hard as them to achieve the same goal.
Usually I just laugh it off, but sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes they might kids might keep making fun of you, and if that happens, just explain to them simply that you have dyslexia and your brain works differently. If this keeps happening, go to a teacher or a parent.
Why don't you guys use a chat box and tell us how you handle it if someone makes fun of you and how you educate other people about your dyslexia?
I see a couple things that are coming in the chat box right now. So we have one of the suggestions is just walk away. You guys go ahead and type your stuff in there, and I will read it out so that we can make sure that everybody hears some of your advice. Have you guys experienced this, and what has worked for you? Let's see. Sam says I would explain it well enough for people to understand. So giving them some good information as to what's going on is also helpful. So some people say ignore it. Let's see. Let's see. Joseph says I just don't listen to them because I know that if I relate, they will just do more of it. So if he, in other words, he just ignores them and doesn't even engage in it. Okay, so that's some good stuff, you guys. Just keep typing in there if you want to, and we'll go ahead and get back to the presentation.
Wouldn't you know to get help from your parents? If something happens at school that you are not comfortable with, you can always go to them to discuss the situation. They will also be really helpful when you're trying to figure out or solve some problems and overcoming challenges. Over time, you will get more confident and begin to know what to say to your teachers on your own. Remember that your families are the ones who know you best, and they'll always be there for you. And they're trying to help you become a stronger self-advocate.
We truly believe in you. Keep up the great work.
Okay, so now we can open it up to questions. If you guys have a question for James or Hannah or Kate, you can type it in the chat box. Cameron offered some good advice as to how to handle it when kids are making fun of you. And let's see, Cameron, I'm not sure, Cameron, if you're a boy or a girl, because that is a name sometimes used for both. So I will just refer to you as Cameron. So Cameron says that practice talking about it at home with your parents, and also talk with your friends about it ahead of time so that when you need help, they better understand the situation. So that is very good advice. Oh, and Cameron is a girl. Thanks, Cameron, for answering that. Appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat box or raise your hand and I'll unmute you and you can ask them directly.
So Katie asked, how do you handle it when you're bullied? I've personally been bullied in the past and I didn't handle it very well. I was kind of afraid to go to a teacher. I didn't have any friends. It was kind of scary. I thought it would just make it worse. But honestly, you go to a teacher. I know everybody says that, but it's what you need to do. It's just going to keep happening. So go to a teacher or a parent or a guidance counselor, or sometimes even if you have a friend, you can go and talk to them. Sometimes kids don't even realize they're bullying you, so just you can even go and talk to them yourself.
That's really good advice because you know what, Katie, you're right. Sometimes they don't realize what they're doing, that, they don't realize that they're hurting your feelings or something. They're kind of just not really thinking about it. Joseph has his hand up, so I'm going to unmute him and let's see what question he has. Hey, Joseph, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
We can. Go right ahead and ask your question.
Hannah and James, have you guys ever been bullied?
I have actually, and it just wasn't for my dyslexia, so I don't really think it was all that relevant.
I also have been, and for me, it wasn't always in that form where it was like direct bullying, but it was things that people would say that would just make me feel worse about myself, and they definitely didn't know that they were bullying me. They would just be like, oh, why can't you read that? That's so easy. Like anyone would be able to read that. And that's kind of like an indirect form of bullying.
Very true. Thanks, Joseph, for asking. Okay, so we have another hand up. Katie has a hand up. Katie, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We sure can. Go right ahead and ask your question.
James and Hannah, have you ever been bullied before?
Oh, that was the same question that was just asked by Joseph.
Never mind.
You have another question? Think of another one. Come on.
Has your dyslexic ever been in your way?
Many times. Believe me. Yes, especially when I'm writing compositions and everything. Oh, it's a nightmare. That's why Dragon Speak is so helpful, because I have all these great ideas running around inside my head, and they're just like screaming, write me, write me. But what do? They just stick right in here.
Yeah.
So that's why Dragon helps so much.
Cool.
Very good. Thanks, Katie, for asking. That's a good question. Okay, so we have more questions in the chat box. Let me go to the chat box and see what we got in here. We got actually a lot of questions now coming in, so let's see what it is. Sorry, you guys, it's taking me a minute to get down to the bottom. Okay, so one of the questions, how can I advocate for myself in a math class? I don't know what to ask for at all. You
So,
guys have any ideas?
what I have done in the past with math teachers is, as a result of my dyslexia, it's not super easy for me to remember things like my multiplication facts, and I don't really see myself ever memorizing them. So I've just explained to my teachers that I have dyslexia, and something that comes hard to me is memorizing math facts. And usually they'll let me use a calculator on tests just for multiplication so I can work faster.
That's good advice. Anybody else have anything to add to the math problem there? No? Okay, I'm going to go to the next question. Okay, it says, I am at a new school. It's for 6th grade, and I haven't made any friends yet. What can I do? It's the 3rd week of school. What do you guys think?
I'd just try to talk to everyone, even if it's just like small talk. You can make that bond with the other students. Because I'm running into that at my school as well, because I'm still homeschool, but I'm taking like a hybrid option with my school. So I can go to another public school and take classes there. And in my one class, it's just dead silent. No one will talk to each other. So just by me saying, oh, that's really cool, or oh, that's really good. I hope you do great on that. It will make it a lot easier for you to make friends, because then it opens the door for them to feel comfortable talking to you.
Yeah, that's good advice, Hannah. Go ahead, Kate.
One way to make friends is extracurriculars. It's, sports, other activities your school offers. Having something in common with a person and making that connection is a really good way to make friends. It gives you something to talk about and stuff. So that's what I recommend.
Good advice, too. And this is a really common question right now. We did an event over the weekend, and this question came up, too. So it's really common right now. We're at the beginning of the year. Everybody's kind of going through this. And I think what Hannah said is just, keep sticking yourself out there and talk to everybody, because a lot of them are feeling kind of shy, too. So, somebody's got to be the icebreaker. So it might as well be you. And just be nice and be yourself. And it's going to take a little bit of time, but don't give up. we have some good advice from Aiden as to one of the questions. Kellen was asking about advocating for himself in the class, and Aiden said, make sure you go and talk to the teacher after class. So, don't forget you guys can talk to your teachers after class or before school, and they can often be very helpful too. So let's see, we have another question. Have you guys read any good books about dyslexia? We have Cameron says that she read Fish in a Tree, and the main character is dyslexic. It's a great story, and she helps her friends understand. Have you guys know any good books? No? Okay. They're not reading as much as they should.
We're dyslexic. What do you expect?
We have audiobooks, Hannah. All right, let's see. Cameron says that she would appreciate other suggestions if you have any, that she can find books that help others understand the situations that are hard to explain on her own. So they don't have any book recommendations today, Cameron. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
We'll skip that question. Let's see. Katie says, has your school ever tried to help, but it did not work? And when they knew you were dyslexic and everything, they're trying to help you, but it didn't help. Have you guys had anything like that?
When I was diagnosed with a specific learning disability, the school put me in some classes that weren't helping, and to take those classes, I was missing class time in the general classroom, and it wasn't helping, and I was missing stuff, and I didn't say anything, and so if you do find yourself in this situation, tell your mom or your dad or something, somebody who can help you get out of it and find something else that works.
Yeah, that's great advice, Kate, because you know what? That happens quite frequently. That the schools, it's not really that they're not trying to help. They really are trying, but if you're not seeing that it's helping you, it is very important to speak up, because a lot of our schools just don't really know how to help kids with dyslexia. So sometimes it does take your parent to kind of step in and help out a little bit. We do have a book recommendation in the chat, Percy Jackson.
Oh, that is a good series.
Yeah, that is a good series. So have you ever been at a new school and been afraid to ask a question?
I have, actually. I've been kind of sort of transporting for one homeschool to the next, and sometimes it just feels really awkward to ask my teacher the question. But as soon as I ask my teacher that specific question, he's like, oh, okay, this is blah, 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 blah. And I get what I need most of the time.
Right. And you know what, too? I used to have trouble kind of asking questions because I would be embarrassed or something. But you know what I realized is, like, as I saw other people asking questions, like, so often I'd be like, oh, that's exactly what I needed to know. And I'd be so thankful that that person stepped up and asked that question. So being the person that steps up and asks the question, you could be helping several people in your class just because you're brave enough to do it. So definitely try to stick yourself out there. Go ahead, Hannah.
I actually noticed something like that happen. It was in my sculpture class, actually. I went up to my teacher and asked him, is this design okay? And then he was like, yeah, that's great. And then I went back to my station, and 5 other people got up and walked up to my teacher and asked him the same question.
The same one. So if one of you just would have been brave enough to, like, say it out loud, then everybody would have felt more comfortable.
Yeah, it was funny watching all 5 of them walk by.
Okay, so we have another question. How did you guys feel when you found out that you had dyslexia? So let's start with James at the top, and we'll go down.
For me, they diagnosed me as having an auditory processing difference. So I had accommodations for that for probably six years maybe. No, way less. Then was diagnosed going into the seventh grade, dyslexic, and I kind of had mixed feelings about it because there was definitely a fear, just because hearing it for the first time is kind of a scary word to hear. But probably after a year, I really started to feel more comfortable using my accommodations, and I realized how much easier it made my life.
Mm-hmm. True. How about
For
you, Hannah?
well, yeah, for me, finding out that I was dyslexic actually helped a lot because I was diagnosed at the fourth grade. I literally had no idea what was going on, and I felt so stupid and dumb to the point where I was actually diagnosed clinically depressed at third grade. And it just helped me so much because I finally understood that this is what is making me not be able to read and everything. And it just really opened up my eyes and everything.
Um, for me, I was diagnosed with a specific learning disability at fourth grade, but my mom told me I was dyslexic. Um, and I had no idea that anything was wrong. I thought I was fine. And then I learned I was reading, 2 grade levels behind, and I wasn't actually fine. And so that kind of, that wasn't great. It kind of took it didn't make me feel great about myself. And I didn't really know what dyslexia was. But as soon as I started learning about things like learning outline, decoding dyslexia, and all this stuff, it made me feel a lot better. Once I did some research and figured out what it was, it was it made me feel a lot better about being dyslexic. So
Right. That's a big part of it, just understanding what it is. And it is such a relief usually to find out that, okay, I'm not stupid after all. I actually just have my brain's just wired differently. It's wired to do something else. It is usually a huge relief. Walker had his hand up. I'm going to unmute him and see if he still has a question. Walker, do you have a question for us today?
What's your favorite book?
Oh,
Oh, their
my
favorite
favorite
book.
book series, like my favorite book or book series is called Anima. It's a manga since I see in pictures. Um, and it's just really cool because it's about kids of all ages that have animal-like powers.
That's cool. How about you, James? You have a favorite book?
I would have to say my favorite book series is probably the Hunger Games series, just because that's something that I was interested in, so I enjoyed reading it.
Cool. How about you, Kate?
um, I love the book Unbroken. It was so hard to read, but it was such a good book.
Hmm. Yeah, that is a good book. Okay, now we're going to have Max ask a question. Hey, Max, can you hear us? You're muted, so you need to click on your little microphone thing. There you go. Go ahead and ask.
Hello. Have you ever been like asked about whenever you're leaving the room to have like the resource room and you keep on getting the question, where were you and everything by other kids and stuff?
So, can I answer?
Yes.
Okay. I used to get that all the time because I went to a small elementary and middle school, so everyone noticed when you weren't in the classroom. And the first few years I went to the resource room, I'll be honest, I made up excuses. I was like, oh, I was just, had a meeting and had to go to that. But then when I got older, I owned my dyslexia. So I was like, I have dyslexia. It makes it harder. I had to go there and get some help. And I was surprised about how many people were just like, oh, cool, okay.
Right. Good advice. Hannah or Kate, you want to add to that at all? Okay.
Um,
Go ahead, Kate.
I used to get that too. I went when after lunch when all the kids were going to the bathroom and stuff. So I kind of would sneak in the room. And when kids noticed, I'd go, I really wouldn't explain. I'd just kind of run away, which made the situation kind of more awkward. But
Yeah, and you know what's kind of funny? There's I don't know if you guys have heard about Dyslexiaville, but they're getting ready to launch their website coming up like next month, and they actually have some skits that they do a little skit about that exact topic. So if I might try to send it all out to you guys. I will send it to you. I'll make sure that you all get it. They're all on YouTube, and it's called Dyslexiaville, and there's a really good skit in there about that topic. So I'll make sure y'all get it. Let's see, one more question is in here, I think. Have any of you guys read or listened to Harry Potter, the series? Hannah or Kate or James? No? Oh, they're all
No.
shaking their heads no. And
My-
I don't know, we got the new book too, you guys. We got the, what is it, The Cursed Child or something like that? We just got that released, so that's brand new. So everybody might want to check that out.
my mom read the books to me and my brother.
Oh, cool. Did you do The Cursed Child yet, or are you gonna read that one? No? It's in the Learning Ally library, so it'd be good to check it out. So let's see, we have a couple other book recommendations in the chat. Ember City, the Benedict Society, Mrs. Penguin, Home for Peculiar Children. The book Thank You, Mr. Falker, Lightning Thief. Let's see. Oh boy, here's a lot of books listed off. Miss Janine put a bunch of them in here. They're in the chat. Come back, kids. My name is Brian. Yeah, one of the other kids said they were listening to that one. Okay, so I don't see any more questions coming in. Are you guys done with your questions? If you have any more, just raise your hand or write it in the chat box. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Let's see. Stuart Gibbs series is a good series. All right. I don't see any more questions, so let's go ahead and go to the next slide. It'll take a second, you guys. There we go. So I just want to tell you real quick about some of our Learning Ally youth services. If you go to www.explore1and5.org, we have several really neat things on the website there, and you'll see some of these kids actually on the website, and there are some videos and some assistive technology recommendations on there. There's some really good stuff on there. We also have a newsletter called The Dyslexian, and it's a family newsletter, so you can sign up for that while you're there. And we have the Text Tips program, and that sends you a text directly to your phone, and you can sign up for that also. And we have 4 states now that have the YES program: Colorado, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and Utah. And then, of course, we have all these virtual offerings that we do. Let's go to the next slide. And for all the parents on here, I'm just going to talk real quick about a couple things. We actually don't have the parent consultations anymore, but we do have webinars, and we have the parent chat. So the parent chat's really helpful for your parents. And I think is there one more slide, Janine? Nope. Okay, no problem.
No.
If you want to go back to go ahead and go back to that other slide, the other. And I'm going to check one more time for questions. Yeah, perfect. Just leave it on there. Let's see. Yeah, yay, Utah. Oh, Katie asked a question. Katie, let's see. Do you see the question, Hannah, right offhand? Oh, wait, what's your favorite movie? Aha, what's your guys' favorite movies?
I'm right on this one.
I thought you might be.
Yes. If it's anything about movies, you can ask me ASAP. I'd have to say that my favorite movie is Studio Ghibli Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
What? I haven't even heard of that.
It's a
Cool.
really cool anime.
Oh, nice. Cool. How about you, James? Do you have a favorite movie?
I think it follows my favorite book, the Hunger Games
The
movies.
Hunger Games. That's
Those are
cool.
good movies.
What about you, Kate? Any favorite movies?
Um, this probably isn't age appropriate, but Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh yeah. Yep, that's a teenager's movie. Cool. All right. I think we've answered all the questions. I don't have any hands up. You guys did a great job. We have our chatters in the chat box that have been helpful too. Uh, this is great getting together like this. I hope that you guys will definitely join us for the bonfire. It'll be kind of set up more like this where you just get to ask questions of each other and stuff like that. So um, hopefully you'll join us. It's going to be on September the 21st. So make sure you go to the website and sign up. All right, you guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up tonight. Thank you so much, Hannah, James, and Kate. You did a great job, and this is really important stuff because I'm dyslexic too, and it's always cool when you can see other people struggle with some of the same stuff that you do, and I think it's just real important work that you guys do. So thank you so much. Okay, everyone, have a great night. Thanks for joining. Bye bye.